Yo, what's going on, Kicks Army? Yesterday was the NBA draft. Overall, it was pretty good. My Orlando Magic selected Mo Bamba, and I'm pretty satisfied with that pick based on who was available. The only problem is, if you don't really know what's going on with the Orlando Magic, now that we have him, Mo Bamba, and then we also have Aaron Gordon at the 4 spot, we have those two players that are really young that we want to develop. Then we also have two other players that we have in those same spots. We have Nikola Vucevic, or however you pronounce his name, and we have Bismack Biyombo. So what my Magic need to do is they need to hopefully find a way to trade those two for some kind of point guard. But that would be the smart thing to do. And I haven't seen the Magic do anything smart for like the past 8 years, so we'll see how that goes. One of the more interesting things about the draft is that Michael Porter Jr. dropped all the way down to 14th, where the Denver Nuggets could pick him up. A lot of scouts and analysts said that if he was just healthy and if he played the way he would have played, he probably would have been #1 overall, so that could be a potentially very big steal for the Denver Nuggets. There were a number of trades that happened yesterday, but the really interesting one that happened is that the Mavs and the Hawks traded, so that way the Mavs can get the #3 pick and the Hawks can get the #5 pick. With the #3 pick, the Mavs picked Luka Doncic, and that's actually pretty important because now they have a really good young backcourt with him and Dennis Smith Jr. And now Luka and Dirk are going to be in a team together, even if it's only for like a year or two. I think that's important too because they're both international prospects. You could argue Dirk is one of the best international players you've ever seen. I mean, gosh, the guy has over 30,000 points. Okay, there's only like 8 people who have done that. So I think he could definitely pull a lot from Dirk, and he can learn a lot from what Dirk has learned. Naturally, from the two players being from overseas, they could just have a better connection and they can kind of relate to each other more. And I think there's something that Dirk can pass down to Luka that could definitely help him propel him into the future of his career. As for the Hawks picked up Trae Young, which is pretty interesting. I really wanted the Magic to get Trae Young. I think the reason why the Hawks did it is because they kind of understood that not only do you really need good three-point shooters to advance in this league if you want to be successful, it's also important that you pick players that are going to sell tickets. That's one of the reasons why I have made no interest whatsoever to go to any Magic games, because their lack of consistency in picking players that could actually work on the team has caused me to not have any interest to go see any of their games because they haven't made any improvements. Now, Mo Bamba is pretty interesting, but if they don't make a trade to get rid of the other two players that they have to get a good point guard, then it's like, okay, well, this first year is going to be pretty weird, if not really bad. But now that the draft is over, the rest of the craziness is going to rely in free agency and trades. And there's a number of key pieces we really have to look at. Obviously, the most important one is where LeBron James is going to go. After that, we have to see where Paul George is going to go. After that, we got to see what the Spurs are going to do with Kawhi Leonard. I really have no idea what's going on with that situation. That's one of the more fascinating stories about this whole season. I really believe that if Kawhi was, let's say, just healthy, obviously he was cleared, but he didn't feel like he was healthy. Forget all that. If he was just flat out healthy, they would have been a tough team to go against. If you remember back like 2 or 3 years ago, I don't remember exactly when, but it was the Western Conference Finals, and it was the Spurs and the Warriors, and the Spurs were up at like 20-something points in Game 1, and then Zaza Pachulia did that thing where he went underneath Kawhi Leonard when Kawhi Leonard was taking a jump shot. That caused Kawhi Leonard to kind of roll his ankle or whatever, and he was done for the series. Now, they were up 20-something points that game, and they lost that game, and they got swept the rest of the series. It was really heartbreaking. So I'm not saying the Spurs would have made it out of the West last year, but they would have made it really interesting against the Warriors. Probably give the Warriors a very hard time. So assuming the Spurs find a way to trade Kawhi Leonard to get a lot of assets in return, I believe the Spurs will still be fine for the future. And I mean, wherever Kawhi goes, that's going to be a really good piece on that team. Obviously, he wants to go to the Lakers. I believe no matter what happens when he gets his shot at free agency, he's going to try to go to the Lakers. But he is still under contract for a year, so it doesn't really matter where he wants to go. All that matters is what the Spurs can get and offer for him. And the rumor mill is that the Celtics could have a lot to offer, although the way the Celtics are looking right now, I don't even know if they have to offer anything. They have such a deep roster, they can go like 11, 12 deep at this point. Like, look at what they did last year. They went all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals without their two best All-Star / Olympian players. And now those two players are healthy again. Granted, I have no idea what's going to happen with Kyrie. I feel like something could happen where Kyrie could leave because now that he knows that his value for the team isn't as high as it once was, he might feel like he might want to leave. That way he doesn't get traded. I don't know. A lot could happen there as well. But assuming nothing happens and that team stays the way it's constructed right now, that team is going to be a serious problem for other teams in the future, including whether a team comes out the West. They have a great coach. They have a great system. They have really good players, and they have most importantly, a lot of really good young players. And apparently that's one of the teams that LeBron is willing to talk to go to. Now, I don't know if that would cause Kyrie Irving to leave or be traded, but if that's the case and Kyrie Irving and LeBron James are playing in the Celtics uniforms, that's going to be funny, because it's like Kyrie's probably thinking, like, man, I did everything I could to get away from you, and now you're with me again? I don't know, man. I feel like a lot is going to happen this offseason. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen, when moves are going to be made. But guys, thank you so much for watching today's video, and feel free to comment down below what sneaker you'd like to see me do for tomorrow's digital illustration, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.